कबूतर जा 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 कबूतर जा 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 कबूतर जा 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 कबूतर जा 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 पहले प्यार की पहली सीटी साजन को दिया। Hey folks, CA Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to another IPO video review which is on Stuffcrafts Limited. Let's quickly understand what the company does. The company is one of the leading kitchen solutions and emerging home solutions brand. It is the market leader in sale of freestanding hobs and cooktops. That's how they look like. And they offer kitchen solutions under the brand name of Pigeon, Gilma, and they also have a brand license with Black & Decker. But we are going to talk a little bit more about Pigeon, Gilma, Black & Decker in the immediate next part of the video. I just now talked about the three brands which are Pigeon, Gilma and Black & Decker. Let's understand a bit more about these brands. Pigeon brand is like Sasta and Tikau category, comparatively cheaper products, but as if I'm talking about quality, not bad category. Gilma is a little bit expensive, so it's like a medium range product. And Black & Decker is a brand which will be more of a premium category product. Okay, so if I talk about Pigeon again, value for money product, they're contributing 76.9% of the total revenue of the company. And under the Pigeon brand, they make products like cookers, hobs, cooktops, which are their main products. Small appliances like mixer grinder, electric kettle, sandwich maker, or whatever. Other products like emergency lamps, steam iron, water bottle, flasks, and all these products. If I'm talking about products which are manufactured under the Gilma brand or either traded under the Gilma brand, they'll be contributing 5.43% of the total revenue, and that includes chimney, hobs, cooktops, and kitchen sinks. And talking about Black & Decker, they contribute just 1.5% of the total revenue, and they are also into small appliances, which I mentioned just few minutes ago, which are like mixer grinder, electric kettle, and all that, and other products like emergency lamp, steam and iron, etc. Well, let's understand a little bit about the population stats. Everyone knows about our huge population, which is almost 134 crores of population. And India basically continues to be a young country. That can be very clearly seen with the help of this chart. So if we can see overall, if I'm talking about 0 to 14 years and 15 to 34 years, both these form a big chunk of the total population. But which is important for this company? For this company, it is 15 to 34 age group. Why? That is when ideally people will get married, and they would love people who go under the category of दो दीवाने शहर में एक आशियाना ढूंढते हैं. If they are ढूंढifying for that आशियाना is the house, then again they'll be searching for the various kitchen appliances, kitchen products, and that these category people are going to be loved by this company. So even if you check out the urban population to be specific, there also you can see a pretty big number of that age group of 15 to 34. Okay, going ahead, it's very clearly evident from the graph. I don't think anything needs to be explained here that the rise in disposable income can be clearly seen, right? So moving on, government initiatives, one of the biggest initiative which is going to be helpful for this company is the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana, which says Swachh Indhan Behtar Jeevan. Why? Because this is the project where the government is wanting more and more people to move from the chula, which creates a lot of smoke, to LPG. Now, under this scheme, government has initially made a target to provide 5 crore LPG connections, and this will definitely give a great boost to the Make in India campaign, wherein the key manufacturers of cylinders, gas stoves, regulators, gas hose, all these will be very much benefited. It's a great opportunity for this company also to grow their market size, and obviously because the number of connections of LPG cylinders is going to grow. Again, one last point I would like to mention is that one of the leading kitchen appliances manufacturers, which is Stuffcraft, they have partnered with oil and gas companies such as Indian Oil, BPCL, HPCL as a co-branding initiative and provide cooktops with new gas connections. So how does this go? So the government will say we are providing you new gas connections, new LPG connections, and Stuffcraft will say we are giving you the hobs, the kitchen tops and all that. So it is as good as Tu Chal Main Aayi. Oh my god, too much of Bollywood today, isn't it? Well, let's understand few points about the kitchen appliances market in India. It is expected to increase at a 9% CAGR, and the urban markets account for almost 65% of the total revenues in the consumer durable sector in India. If I talk about organized players versus unorganized players in kitchen appliances market, right now it is skewed. It is more concentrated in the hands of unorganized players. Who are the major players? Major players are uh, TTK Prestige, Stuffcraft, Hawkins, Bajaj Electricals, Faber, and so many more. Also, let's discuss about the key drivers in the kitchen appliances segment. So first one can be lifestyle. People are wanting to upgrade their lifestyles and they would like to have more and more modern kitchen appliances in their house as well. So that could be one reason why Indian kitchen appliances market is set to grow. Second one is need for space utilization. In especially cities like Mumbai, the overall area of the house is less, so it's about fitting all the posh kitchenware in the least possible space. Third one is health and environment concerns, wherein I talked about Swachh Indhan and all that, wherein all these products will get more and more exposure. And of course, last one, role of property developers and builders. So builders are also trying to sell their flats by saying that, okay, we have the latest facilities in the kitchen. Let's understand few points about the company, how it started, how it is placed today. So in 1994, they originally started with manufacturing of kerosene wick stoves. You remember that as a pus 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 karke. You might have seen that in your grandpa's house or somewhere, right? In 1997, they were the largest manufacturer in the industry. In 99, they incorporated and commenced as a proper private limited company, which is Stuffcrafts Private Limited. In 2001, they launched brands like Pigeon and Gilma. In 2006, they had those tie-ups with IOCL, HPCL, BPCL. In 2013, they launched a non-stick cookware product range, and in 2017, they entered into an agreement with Black and Decker. Remember that premium brand which we were talking about. Okay, well, if I'm talking about the market size currently, or the market share, I can say for cooktops and freestanding hobs, they're the market leaders with market share of 25% and 20.3% respectively. For other products like built-in hobs or electric kettle or juice extractor, whatever, we have different competitors who are the market leaders in all these segments. Well, if I talk about the geographical presence for this company, major presence is in South India, which mainly includes its presence, dealer presence in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Kerala. They're trying to rapidly increase their presence in the balanced parts of the country as well. And on a different note, but if we are talking about how much exports they are having, current exports are 17.9% of the total revenue from operations for the 6 months ended 30th September 2020. If I talk about the key competitive strengths or growth strategies, well, here are the key competitive strengths, which I don't know, like anything is like, wow, I say nothing of that sort. Like one stop shop, okay, well connected network and all that. Okay, fair enough. And even if I talk about growth strategies, it was not like nothing like as a, oh my god, this is like super important. Nothing like that. These are the strategies that they have, right? Well, when I was going through the litigations and risk factors section in the RHP, there were many points in there, but I thought that at least one point I should specifically mention in my video, which mentioned that the trademark for our marquee brand, the most important brand, Pigeon, itself is a subject matter of litigation. So when I read this, I was like, this is the main brand that they have, and that itself is under a matter of litigation, then that's a big point. But then in the management commentary, we found that it was mentioned that the company which was contesting this brand, that itself is like a group company, and that company is at the brink of closure. Well, moving ahead with the financials, you can check out that there is pretty much constant growth in the revenue from their operations. It's almost a 12.5% CAGR in increase in revenue from operations. If I'm talking about the gross margins, they are also consistently improving. If I'm talking about the EBITDA margins, they also seem to be improving. But if I talk about their PAT, there's a very, very interesting point here. Please pay attention for this. For PAT, for 31st March 2018, it was a loss of 120.18 millions. For 31st March 19, it was profit of 7 million. For 31st March 20, it was a profit of 31 million. And achanak se, for first half of 2020, it's a profit of 287 millions. So when we started digging down deep here, that how come that profit has increased so much all of a sudden, we found that there is a tremendous reduction in traveling and conveyance expenses, obviously because of lockdown. And second one is business promotion and advertisement expenses have also drastically gone down. But if you ask me, both these expenses are not going to be low in the longer term. So these are not like sustainable expenses at a lower levels. So the moment these expenses shoot up, obviously their profit margin is again going to go down. So if you ask me, I'm not really happy with the profit numbers, the bottom line as well. Even if you check out their balance sheet, in the balance sheet also other equity, which is like reserves, they that is shown in negative. It means profits, that there are not big profits, but there is kind of a loss, because of which the other equity is negative. When I read the notes to accounts, it shows that it is because of some ind AS adjustments that the other equity has gone negative. But if you look into the notes and schedules of the financials, I personally did not feel very much interested after looking at the financials. Well, let's move ahead with the valuations. If I talk about the EPS, which is earning per share, for 18 it was negative, 19 very minor positive, 20 it's just 1.05. But if I'm talking about 6 months ended 30th September 2020, their EPS is 9.57 positive. And if I do it for a yearly basis, so this is because 6 months data is 9.57, right? So if I multiply it by 2, then their yearly EPS can be approximately 19.14. Now, please understand, upper price band is 385. With this, their PE ratio will be 20.11. Now, how can one perceive this? Industry PE average, highest, lowest, if I do an average, it is 123. Then we might get a feeling that, oh my god, it's so cheap, because industry average is 123 PE and the company is offering it only 20.11 PE. Wait, now if I compare the PE, or if I do the valuation for 31st March 2020 also, immediate previous year end. Immediate previous year end was EPS of only 1.05. The price band, upper price band is 385. So 385 divided by 1.05 will have a huge PE of 366. Now this 366, if I compare with industry PE of 123, now you know whether it is cheap or not. You are very easily you can understand that, right? Even if I'm talking about the NAV per share, NAV as on 31st March 2020 was 41. As of September 30th, it is 51.89. Now, all in all, if you ask me, even if you are trying to do a valuation, not only Stuffcraft, but if I'm trying to compare it with peer group also, then let's quickly check out what is the scenario. It's very easily visible that EPS is as good as the lowest amongst the peers. If you're talking about the return on net worth, that is also like second from the lowest almost. Even if you're talking about the revenue from operations, it is kind of lowest. So all in all, I told you that financials are also not very interesting. Valuations also look steep to me. So if I talk about shareholding pattern quickly, the promoter and promoter group has 61.31% of the total share capital, and the others have almost 38.4% of the shares. If I talk about the IPO details, opening date is 25th of Jan, closes on 28th of Jan. It's a normal book building issue. It's going to get listed on BSE as well as NSE. If you're talking about the IPO, it's a mix of fresh issue as well as OFS. Fresh issue is aggregating to almost 95 crores, and offer for sale is going to be a balance of roughly around 317 crores. So again, very well understood, its major chunk of the money is not going to come to the company, it's going to go to the selling shareholders. If you're talking about the minimum application size, is going minimum application amount, it's 14,630. Maximum is going to be 190. And the company is expected to list on 5th of February 2021. Objects of the offer are mainly for repayment or prepayment of certain borrowings and for general corporate purpose. These are some basic details about the IPO. And the big question now, am I going to apply? Answer is YouTube live. No, for a change. I'm not going to do any YouTube live. Today only I'm going to tell you my what I am going to do. I'm not going to apply for the IPO of this company. This one, as I mentioned, the financials don't interest me a lot. The valuations I feel are overstretched. When do I go for YouTube live? When do I take a decision on the last day? When I feel financials are good, when I feel dum hai yaar, mujhe acha lagta hai. Then I check that how are the big players bidding and all that. Based on that, I would take a decision. But this company, at least I didn't like it. So I'm not going to apply for this company's IPO. You definitely should do your own analysis and then take your own decision. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye-bye.